सब्सक्राइब कीजिए ध्येय आईएएस चैनल को और बेल आइकन को दबाइए लेटेस्ट वीडियो सबसे पहले देखने के लिए।
May I come in, sir? Good afternoon, sir.
Please have the seat.
Thank you, sir.
Ananya, you are from Allahabad. You have studied also in Allahabad. But I see that you have done your economics
Yes,
from
sir.
SRCC.
Yes, sir. My schooling was in Allahabad.
Schooling was in Allahabad
Yes,
and college here in
Yes, sir.
Delhi.
Yes.
How is the economy doing in India at present? People say it is a slowdown.
Sir, I feel that there are certain challenges that we are facing on the economic front right now. But the budget and the economic survey, especially the economic survey, has provided us an objective analysis of the reasons for this slowdown, whether it is international or domestic. And the budget has tried to bring the economy out of this slowdown.
What is the difference between it is a recession or it is a slowdown?
So recession is when the GDP growth is negative for 3 consecutive quarters, whereas in slowdown, the definition is not perfect definition, but it is basically that the GDP growth has slowed down. But in recession, it would be negative. That is, the GDP is falling.
Or the growth is almost flat. Is it also? Some people say it is flat. It is neither going up nor going down.
So that would be a kind of a slowdown.
It's a kind of slowdown. What is stagflation?
So stagflation is a combination of low GDP growth and higher unemployment along with higher inflation.
I see you are from Allahabad. Very recently, the name underwent a change. It has become Prayagraj. What is your view? The name should have been changed or Allahabad should have been retained? Your personal view. Because I'm asking you because, not for my knowledge, but this is something because Allahabad figures very prominently here and likely that the board might pose this question to you. So your views, please.
So I feel that the name Prayagraj does justice to the place because it has a civilizational, historical, cultural background. When we talk of Allahabad, the first thing that comes to anybody's mind is Sangam, and Prayagraj refers to that name Sangam. So I feel that the name change is justified. However, I would say that a more democratic process, more consultation with people can make this process better.
But Allahabad also represents a great civilization. Why not? Why is Prayagraj says that it is an ancient? Sangam was there in Allahabad time also, Prayagraj time also.
Yes,
Why
sir,
is this?
definitely.
What do you
Allahabad.
think?
Allahabad also was a name that had historical connotations to it. But ultimately, it is the decision of the government to.
What is your thought on that? Independent thought.
So I feel that Prayagraj is a name that does justice to the place.
So it is good, you think,
Yes,
according
sir.
to you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Now you have won many awards and debates and all. You have headed the debating, and you said that writing on contemporary social issues. What is the latest article you wrote on contemporary social issue? What was the topic like?
So I wrote on LGBT issues after the Supreme Court, with reference to the Supreme Court judgment in Navtej Johar, where they decriminalized parts of Section 377.
But that is not fairly recent. It is not very latest. Which is the most recent which you have written?
So after I started my preparation, I couldn't really write much. I was reading more. Yes, sir. But recently I wrote on the Global Gender Gap Report, which was presented by the World Economic Forum in this December, in which India dropped 4 places. So I analyzed the reasons for it. Mainly there were the health indicators and the economic indicators in which the gender gap has widened in India.
And are you following the current affairs also? What is happening in our country and abroad? What is the most important event in the recent past? Number 1 in India, number 2 in the world. What do you think?
So in the world, I feel right now the coronavirus epidemic in China is something that is grabbing the headlines. In India, I feel right now the focus is on the economy with the budget. Mostly the discourse is around that.
You think it is not on the ongoing debate on CA or anything?
Yes, sir, that is also there.
So the budget takes precedence over it, or the ongoing agitation? What is your view?
So both issues are
Both
equally
issues are equally
important.
important, you feel. Last question, you say that you have studied in a college in Allahabad which is St. Mary's Convent. Can you name one important Indian who is a product of that school or college?
So Eva Sahai, who was one of the UPSC toppers, Eva Sahai, who was one of the UPSC toppers, was from our school.
In the national level, anybody you can name?
So I cannot recollect right now.
Anyway, one of our former Prime Ministers, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, was a product, former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Arjun Singh, and many more in the last 150 years. That's all. No, not from St. Mary's.
I think
He
St.
was from
Mary's.
Boys High School.
St. Mary's.
Acha, possible.
Primary.
possible.
At
Anyway,
that time it was, common, and then he
Acha,
went to.
I wouldn't know that. I mean, this too, Arjun Singh's biography says mentioned St. Mary's very well, and possible. Anyway, all the best. Any next?
Recently, there have been a lot of environmental issues which have cropped up. So, how these environmental issues interact with social issues and create altogether a different, paradigm? Can you just suggest?
So one thing that comes to my mind is the stubble burning, because it was connected to the issue of the farmers and the larger rural economy. Stubble burning in Punjab, Haryana and parts of Uttar Pradesh was causing troubles in Delhi air pollution, and the government was trying to incentivize the farmers to move away from stubble burning. And for that we need to go into the social dynamics also about how we can interact with the farmers, how we can make them choose different, more environment friendly ways.
In your assessment, this is one of the very major issues that you have really identified, stubble burning. It's seasonal, relates only just about 6 weeks. Then rest of the year, we are stable burning free environment, right? But I am talking of some major issues which are really creating nervousness in the society. There is a movement which is known as Friday for Future. What is it?
So it's basically the school students who are fighting against climate change, and on Fridays they boycott their classes, and they, especially in Finland and in these places. In Finland and these places, yes sir. For example, Sir Greta Thunberg, who is right now one of the prominent.
From Finland?
No, so I'm saying it is also in Finland.
Also, then what is the origin of this place? Where does it started? When?
I'm not aware of that.
No, no, no.
Sweden.
Have you participated in any of these movements? Do you find that they are justified in doing so?
So I think they create a positive discourse about environment.
There are
And
many people who say this is all books. There is no problem like environment or climate change.
so I feel
In
that
fact, one of the very major country or leader of the world says that there is no such thing. So how do you say
More than
it's
one.
justified? Huh?
More than one.
Huh, more than one now, yes. In fact, the Brazil is also
Brazil,
joining the
yes.
bandwagon,
I
yes.
had Brazil.
And Australia is there.
Australia.
In spite of this
Bushfires.
major bushfire,
Australia.
they deny all this, that it is because of climate change.
Australia,
Yes.
understood.
so I feel
Even
that
Canada is slipping out.
Yes.
Yes.
so there is scientific evidence. For example, the IPCC reports which say that climate change is.
It's a report. Give me the evidence.
So the evidence is that the temperature has risen by 1.1 degrees since the pre-industrial times, and we are seeing the impact of it in terms of the Australian bushfire or the rising, the greater
It is-
uncertainty in the monsoon.
We are just assigning this to climate change, or are there real evidences to show that it is because of the climate change? Because anything that is really abnormal, we say it's climate change, and it is easy to ascribe. But are there any tests which need to be done to say it is because of the climate? There are many factors which operate,
So I feel right now India's position also in the UNFCCC is that climate change is a major issue. Maybe more studies should be conducted to credibly bring out more information about this so that the climate skeptics can also be settled.
How many different kind of problems India is suffering because of climate change? Let's start from the north and go right up to the south. And from the Gujarat coast to the northeast.
So I feel
Are they same or they are different in their manifestation?
so they are different in their manifestations because there is great geographical diversity in India.
So tell us from the north to the south first.
So north, when we talk about the Himalayan glaciers, it is being said that in the coming times till 2100, there will be more heating in the glaciers. The springs are also drying up in the Himalayas. There is problem of waste management in the north. Then when we come to Delhi and the surrounding areas, we have the problem of air pollution. We have the urban waste management issues. Then when we talk about Rajasthan, the problem of desertification is there. There is expansion
There was
of
a conference of desertification. Didn't
yes,
it?
sir.
UNCCN.
UNCCN,
What is this?
the Convention to Combat Desertification, and India has made a voluntary indication that it would restore 26 million hectares of land and achieve land degradation neutrality by 2030.
What is the neutrality here? One is that I will rehabilitate and the other is neutrality. In दोनों में क्या फर्क है? That is revegetation or replanting is one thing, but here is one is talking of neutrality. That is something is happening which I keep on neutralizing it. So what is happening and what you are neutralizing? What do you mean?
So because of the pressure of population and development, it is inevitable that certain land will have to be converted for agricultural or industrial use. But at the same time, through reforestation and through other methods, we will also try to restore an equal amount of land so that the neutrality is maintained.
Next. And then anything else? You said 26 million hectares. That our target is. Right. Are there strategies for that?
So, so I feel that we have the forest and tree cover in India is growing. It is right now at 24.5%, and so the carbon sink that we are creating, the afforestation that we are doing, all this is in the direction of that land restoration. Thank you, sir.
Ananya, tell me, what are the factors for the growth of militancy in Kashmir? Because this is one region where they had maximum freedom, autonomy, they had their own constitution, their own flag, and yet, militancy. What were the main factors?
So I think one reason is the development deficit in Kashmir in terms of the employment opportunities. In terms of investment. The other thing is that there is cross-border militancy. There is also the influence of the of Pakistan over the youth in Kashmir. So I think these are the main reasons for the homegrown militancy.
Do you think now Article 370 abrogated or diluted, whatever, and state turned into union territory will help solve the problem?
So it remains to be seen. However, I feel that it is a good opportunity which we can utilize because greater investment can be invited into Kashmir, greater employment opportunities.
Will the people accept that?
So it
or
is
will militant allow that development to happen?
So it is definitely going to be a challenging situation. We need to take the people into trust. We have to coordinate more with the local bodies and get directly in touch with the people, while at the same time provide security so that any kind of major mishap does not take place. So both these things have to be kept in mind. Security.
Do you think
and
will there be a change in Pakistan's policy towards it? Because they'll continue to harbor militants or send militant across the border. Camps are still running. Militant organizations are still functioning there. There's no apparent change in Pakistan's policy towards Islamic militancy or militancy, whatever you call it.
So Pakistan, especially after the abrogation of Article 370, has tried to internationalize this issue and tried to be more aggressive in their discourse on Kashmir. However, I feel that once the people, once they are employed well, once they are involved in the task of nation building, and they start, interacting more with the government and with the people of India, the impact of Pakistan on the people will reduce. Militancy might continue, but with our greater, we have, as India, with the Balakot strikes, we have had a more aggressive stand, a stand where we have created a new normal, that a greater deterrent will be established whenever there are such attacks, although it will be in a preemptive manner, but we will definitely not allow our citizens to be killed in cross-border firings.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
A case currently before the Supreme Court involves a question whether women can be allowed to join command posts. You understand the word command posts? And one of the grounds on which Government of India is opposing this proposal is that men in the force will not accept women in command posts. What do you think about this stand of the Government of India?
Sir, I feel that when we talk about command posts in, say, the armed forces, we have to balance the gender equality part with the part of efficiency of the forces also. So when they talk about the mindset of the men in the army, it is not justified to make a blanket generalization that they might not accept it. However, I feel that just inducting women into the forces is not the overall conclusive solution to this. We have to start from a young age where if we talk about even at the school level, there are a lot of gender stereotypes where men are involved more in sports than women or more in these military.
So do you think this argument of the Government of India is acceptable? Should the court accept this argument?
No, sir. I feel that it is a generalization which we should not make. But there are other nuances in this issue that we must consider.
Okay. There are a number of development and governance indicators against which performance of various countries is ranked from year to year, and we get the progress almost every year. We know a number of indicators against which India's rank is going down the hill. But are there any indicators, global indicators, against which India is performing quite well? Can you mention a few, at least 2 or 3?
So one is the ease of doing business, where we are one of the
So what is the
top
progress?
63rd rank we have right now, from 70. I'm not sure which.
As far as I remember, you should check this. It was 140 a few years back. What else?
So improvement. I'm unable to recall right now.
Global Innovation Index, where a few years back our rank was 81, 2015 it was 81, and now it is 52. That's a very significant improvement. And there are others also. Anyway, you should check this.
Very good performance.
Lovely performance.
Best. Today is the best.
Yeah.